Mr. Truck, I'm somewhere near Scottsdale, Arizona at the 2019 Ram 1500 drive, the first drive.
Chief designer for our Ram interiors. I also have Dodge and SRT under my belt too. So in talking about this new 2019 Ram 1500, as Jim had mentioned, we really set out in the beginning about 4.5 years ago to put pen to paper on creating this great truck. It was not about only creating the best Ram 1500 interior that we could do. It's really going out there and creating the best interior in the marketplace, really, for any truck. As I mentioned, all the way down through the trim level, there's this sort of nice appearance to that center stack. It's that lifted feel to it, and again, adorning it in a lot of soft surfaces. So really, what have we done to the interior? We've really changed, honestly, every part and piece of it. We've turned over every rock, really looking and listening to customers on what really the needs of the interior want to be for this Ram 1500. Some of the notables that I want to point out in this image: a new dual pane sunroof that you'll see in the trucks. A lot of the trucks have it out there. The increased size of the cab, coupled with this, it's great on a morning like this, the amount of light that comes into the cabin. New tech in radios, so we have obviously our new 12-inch radio, but the rest of the lineup has been refreshed. New HVAC system, so again, the increased size in the overall cabin, we really went back in and revamped that, so it's a brand new HVAC system. Second rear floor area has been all revamped. New seats, they're lighter in general to help with weight savings, but a lot more comfort and function added to it. And then one of my favorite features is our center console, which I'll take you guys through. So in terms of the rear space, if you're familiar with today's truck, we had a tunnel in that area. We did some clever things to kind of give you a flat load floor, but the new Ram 1500 really has allowed us to shave that tunnel completely away. The 4 inches increase in the overall size has really been given everything right to the customer in that second row, so you will feel it. The front door is increased by 1 inch, the rear door is increased by another 1 inch, and there's 2 inches in the seat pillar area. And that has really just allowed us to think of this area as an SUV's rear compartment in terms of the amount of storage that you have back here. And we've done that in some clever things. We have our stadium seating that lifts up. We have a little storage area underneath that seat that then folds out, and that gives you about 40 liters of storage in general. And you can house things like a 4-foot level, maybe fishing poles, longer items that you kind of want to have be secure in that back area, and then you can actually put the seat back down and kind of close it back up. We also have grocery hooks back there as well, and then all crew cab models come standard with our in-floor bins, which are class exclusive. We've increased the size of those bins over today's, so they're now 5 inches larger in terms of fore-aft length. We've also added tie-downs in that area, so again, the whole comment about SUV storage, that's aided in that. And then the bins are great for things like a 4-inch drop hitch, which you could put in there, something that's dirty, those bins come out, you can wash them and take them away with you. In terms of the overall interior lineup, so I mentioned that we have 6 distinct trims. And we did that at first by creating sort of this motif of what would the hammer be for each of the trims. So throughout the lineup, we basically, almost 4.5 years ago, we kind of gravitated to what each of those trims would feel like if it was a hammer in terms of the colors, the tones, the overall feel. And you can see that varies throughout the lineup because it's very distinct. That's very important throughout the trim, and you're going to notice that when you get into Bighorn and then you get into Limited today. Hopefully there's a really vast difference in the feel. Some of the details, so I'm going to start kind of going through the trim lineup. So first off is Limited. The truck in front of us is adorned in an all-black interior. Some really nice things that we've done here in terms of just the detail. And I hope these are some things that you might not appreciate right away when you get into it, but maybe as you're driving out there today, you start to see and pick on some of these things, and you think of them as like a high-end watch, the type of detail that goes into it. That's very important for us to make sure that customer feels that this interior really has been adapted for them. And so we have things like open pore real wood on our limited and Longhorn models. This one's adorned in this sort of pinstripe feel to it, so it's like kind of a finely tailored suit. We have a lot of metal uses on the interior. We also do some clever things like our floor mats. There are hybrid floor mats, which are rubber, and you can actually pull out the carpet, insert in them. So on days like this, it's great getting them dirty, but then at night, you can put the carpet back in. This comes in all black interior, which you see, and there's also one of these out there too, which is our indigo and frost. And that's important throughout the line. You're going to notice we have dark interiors, and we have light interiors to help complement each other. Our 12-inch radio, so like as I mentioned, it's hard to ignore that. It's a big focal point. I think we've gotten a lot of good feedback on it. There's some really cool tech that's embedded into this 12-inch that is actually exclusive for the Ram 1500 and FCA. So it's called our 360L from Sirius XM. And really what that means is it's on demand. So that it learns what you're listening to. You basically set your profiles, and you guys can actually do that today. You can see there's probably some stored profiles in there. And it starts to give suggestions. So there's a For You area. It starts to pick up what you're listening to. You can actually listen to podcasts on demand. It's great also because it's got an embedded cell in there. So if you're going in a tunnel, you're going in an area where satellite service cuts out, it actually will then stream over the internet. So you won't lose signal, which is also very nice. So there's a lot packed into it. There's 3 trucks out there today that have the 12-inch screen, and we're going to be riding with you guys, so don't be afraid to obviously ask any questions. But sort of a little quick tutorial on the 12-inch screen. You're going to notice there's a home screen button in the upper left. That allows you to basically set that state that kind of feels familiar to you. So in this case, we might have nav, or we have comfort on the bottom. Anytime you're using the system, you can hit home, and it'll automatically go back to those predetermined settings that you set. So getting into some of the screens here, so say we had climate on the bottom there, the 12-inch screen and the rest of the radios are also capacitive in the sense that they can do swiping, so very familiar in terms of tablets. So you can actually swipe left and right. In this instance, you go to sort of your comfort settings, like your heated and ventilated seats. So you're not having to drill too far down to the system to get to some of the stuff that you like. This is showing our new 360 surround view camera. So that positions itself on the top, and then again, some of the control screens pop up. And then full screen nav. It's an awesome thing for this 12-inch screen. I mean, it's literally like having a tablet in front of you. Again, pinch to zoom, very, very easy to remember tasks. You're used to them on your phone. You also have multi-touch gestures in terms of going from, like, say, 2D to 3D with 2 fingers up and down. So again, definitely play with them out there as you guys are driving or at some of the breaks. Audio system has been upgraded. So we have a 19-speaker Harman Kardon 900-watt audio system that is available on Laramie, Longhorn, and Limited. And it's great from an interior design perspective too, because we've been able to take those, and all those trucks that have a nice metal speaker grill. So in the case of the Limited, it's these striking stainless steel speaker grills that you see. So it's not only an audio experience, it's also a visual experience as well. Longhorn, the exact sort of alter ego to Limited. There's one of these trucks out there today. It's our black and cattle tan. Some points I want to point out here is the wood in this one. Very much taking cues from even, say, the structure that we're in terms of the barn wood. So the wood itself has a very, you can feel the wood edges throughout there. And then on top of that, we've actually, for the Longhorn, branded the logo in there. So literally it is a hot iron brand that's very unique. So basically not any one truck is going to be alike. So it's very unique in that sense. We have some of the buckle details, some of the open edges to how the leather is cut. So you see a little bit of that raw finish. But the colors in general, we were going after something that on a farm in the morning, the sunrise, the type of colors that you see, that's what you would see in this Longhorn edition. So it comes in black and cattle tan. And then we also have our mountain brown and light mountain brown. And this brings in a little bit more of what we call our filigree, which is our tooling that you would see on some boots and leather goods. So you'll see that on the seats. All of Longhorn and Limited, everywhere in red here, is hand-wrapped, cut and sew materials. So in terms of softness that I was talking about, you can see that in this cabin. Anywhere you touch when you're sitting in the vehicle, you're gonna appreciate this. This also applies to the second row as well. This is our Laramie truck. We have a ton of Laramies out there for you guys to experience, and hopefully when you get into a Laramie, you're gonna hopefully feel that it even seems like today's Longhorn Limited in terms of the amount of content. And we've done that throughout the lineup to make sure that each trim level has increased in terms of its appearance and content. This interior has actually even suede accents, has some wood details, painted surfaces, but all the touch areas, so the center console, the doors, front and rear, all soft. This also comes in our Mountain Brown and Frost interior scheme, so again, very alternatives throughout the trim lineup. Our radio system lineup, so I mentioned the 12-inch. We also have 3 other radios. So we have 2 8.4-inch radios now. Basically, they're discerned by a flush appearance, and the flush appearance ones are our navigation 8.4 systems. They're all new, better colors, better resolution and graphics. You guys should experience that when you get into the trucks. We also pride ourselves on having a lot of redundancy in terms of the controls. So even the 12-inch screen had some redundant controls. This screen definitely has the knobs, larger size, spread open, making sure that you can even activate most of the stuff with a gloved hand. And it's important for us to have the redundancy, because if someone gets into the vehicle right away, they want to get to the things that they know, heating, ventilating, radio, you can do that instant without having to even go through the screens. We've also redone our lower switch bank, which is on every single truck. It's great for things like the air suspension. It's now a toggle, so actually up and down. It's very easy to use in terms of the air suspension.
Now we're going to take this beautiful black Ram 1500, towing a 6,000-pound boat. The horse trailer just was not big enough, so I want to get a little more feel for this new truck. Basically for the suspension, I know the power is fine. And this is also a 392 rear end differential. So I'm just going to set my mirrors up here. See where that boat is. There it is. And that side, let me set it up a little. So this boat, I mean the horse trailer I think was 8.5 foot wide. This boat looks like it's about, it still could be 8 foot wide. A little better visibility on the boat. And no weight distributing hitch. I guess that's how they are, because there's not very many weight distributing hitches even made for a surge brake system like on a boat. There's only, I know Equalizer's done it, but it may only be 1 or 2. So I guess this is how it works. So we can't independently brake the trailer. Oh, I love this telescoping steering wheel. This is new for this year. It has the progressive spring, so this will not squat as much as the old model did with a single rate spring. So they made a lot of good improvements to this truck besides strength, and we'll see what that the new hybrid part does for fuel mileage. There's a horse wagon train following us. Horses on a chuck wagon. That's pretty cool. So anyway, all set. Got my Ram hat. I'm all ready to rock and roll with my boat. I could be gone for days. I'm sure there's a lake somewhere in Arizona. But anywho, this is cool. It's so beautiful out here in March. We're in Colorado. We could be deep in snow, or we could be in the 50s, 60s. Yeah, this truck is having no problem with 6,000 pounds. Of course, you know, you can get over 11,000 pounds on this truck. If we had two-wheel drive, we could get up to, what, 12,750. Pretty crazy numbers for the half-ton class now. All the half-tons have gone crazy for what they will tow. That's the competition of it. I think if you're towing those kind of weights, you should get a 3/4 ton. I don't care what brand it is, but anyway, that's my opinion. So, can't take too long a trip because I want to get back and do the off-road with that Rebel. I'll go play in some sand. See what I can tear up next. I guess I better turn on my lights so I know I do have some kind of a connection to the trailer. Really cool plants out here, all these different kinds of cactus. They are neat looking. I don't see this much in color. I'm going to see barreled cactus and prickly pear, but they've got everything out here. Joshua trees, sagebrush. We've got sagebrush. But I do like their big barreled cactus out here. So anyway, no problem accelerating with, of course, 6,000 pounds, half the weight it could haul. Nothing to it, and I can even put on tow haul mode. If I get out of the ditch, tow haul mode is a little more controlled on downshift, grade shifting. which I'm not, I'm on a flat surface. There's not much hills out here in Arizona. I just haven't built many hills or grades. It's kind of a flat state unless you go up to the mountain regions, like the Apache Trail by Mesa or up north by Flagstaff. Without that, you don't have anything.
Our E-Shift, which is on every single truck, is our rotary E-Shifter. It's a next generation unit. It's got a little bit more of a stronger feel in terms of locking into the gears. We also have incorporated our E-Torque Assist button, as well as our hill descent and axle lockers. They're all included in that area, so it's a very easy to grab in terms of reaching some of the functional bits of the truck. Our seats, as I mentioned, have been stripped out in terms of weight. That's an all-new frame system, but we've added a lot more content back into the seats. So now, from driver's side and passenger side, we'll have both the same type of features in terms of up-down movement. The seats themselves go 20 millimeters lower in the vehicle, and when you incorporate the tilt and telescoping column that's now on the truck, as well as our adjustable pedals, you really should feel comfortable in the truck, no matter who you are. In terms of heat and vent, we have 3 levels of heat and vent, and that is on both driver and passenger, as well as the rear. So the rear seats now have ventilation, which is a great creature comfort. And we also have 4-way adjustable headrests and 4-way power lumbar. So there's a lot more packed into the seats, and then a new 3-point harness system for our bench seat. The rears, we didn't stop there. So the rear seats with the 4-inch stretch to the cabin, we really want to take advantage of the space that we have there. And so the seats themselves now recline 8 degrees. So a Laramie Longhorn Limited, you can get the slide recline seat, which basically the cushion sort of slides out, and that gives you the 8 degrees of recline. We also then can drop down the whole center section and kind of give you this 2+2 style seating, which is a really, if you talk luxury, this really feels luxury in the rear. If I'm not driving, I would love to be in the back of the truck just because it feels like almost like you're in a limo. Red for our Rebel, striking color combination. Joe mentioned the differences that he was going for on the exterior design. We wanted to make sure that the image of Rebel for the interior was there as well. We've done some cool things like we have our Goodyear Duratrack tires embossed into the seats, as well as even some of the details of the plated finishes. We've gone through and done this sort of hyper-realistic detail where we do a machining process, the appearance of it on the metal bits. So again, when you get a chance to get into the Rebel and some of the other vehicles, hopefully you'll appreciate some of the detail that's packed into it. Our 7-inch cluster's been revamped. Again, all new screen in terms of colors, finishes. The unit will now display 3D animations, so in the case that this is a new feature too, we have our tailgate ajar, basically allowing the customer to know that the tailgate's down. We can also pop the tailgate from your key fob, as well as the overhead console. So again, great graphics. 7 zones of this cluster are reconfigurable, so we know the truck customers love having information and details, and you can go in there and customize any of those. You can also wipe all that away and have it be very clean. In terms of themes, so I mentioned the 6 distinct themes. We also play that into the actual screens themselves. So again, a Rebel will look vastly different from a Limited because of the colors and also the font. So the font of the Speedo will actually change between the Limited and a Rebel or say a Longhorn. So that's kind of a very unique feature. Bighorn, heart of the market. We have 4 interior color schemes for the Bighorn. So we have a few of those out there today. This is our frost and black interior. Again, nothing to be ashamed of here. You know, we have a lot packed into this. Painted instrument panel, soft surfaces on the doors, the bolsters. The seats are cloth with a really nice finish on there, and a very nice hand to the seat. And then this is showing our bench seat, which is available on most of the models as well, which again allows us to get 6-pass seating. Probably one of the best features, one of my favorite features of the interior. So any bucket seat you'll experience some of this. We really started working on this even before we put pen to paper on the rest of the interior. And this is really talking about storage and function technology kind of coming together. We have 5 USBs on the truck. They're all housed within this center console. 4 of those are the new Type-C USBs. So that allows you to charge at a rate of 4 times faster than the normal USB. 3 of those are fully functional. meaning that you can plug your phones in, 3 people can have them plugged in, and on the head unit you can actually select your input. So you don't have to take the cables on and off in terms of wanting to listen to different people's radio or music. So that's kind of a really nice feature. Also on the rear of the center console, we've added cup holders, as well as a bring your own device type thing where we can bring in an iPad and actually put it up in that area there, and you can use that for the rear passengers. So kind of nice little storage opportunities. We have an area up in there that's also locked, as well as a 5th USB that's charge only. This kind of is an X-ray view. I'm pointing at in the front there a wireless charger, which is now available on the truck. It allows you to put your phones right there and present them to you, and then if you've got a phone that's got a wireless charger with any of the new wireless charging features, it can actually charge it as it's being presented. That center area then also allows us to have our hanging file storage, and then that whole cup holder unit actually slides rearward in vehicle 3 positions. So you actually access a lot of the space that's underneath there. You can store things like a 15-inch laptop in there just to give you a sense of the size of the space that we're talking about. In general, close to 40 liters of storage just in the center console alone. And then when you group that with some of the other stuff that we've done, this is kind of a shot of that. In total, we got 151 liters of interior storage, twice that of the closest competitor on the interior.
We've increased the capability of this truck, where now it delivers 2,300 pounds of payload, 12,750 pounds of trailer tow capability. Once again, significant for a light-duty pickup truck. We've improved the ride, the handling, the braking, the steering, the overall vehicle dynamics of this truck has improved. Our current truck is a really good riding truck. This is taken it a notch higher, and I really want your feedback later on. I think we've got something special here. We've improved our efficiencies, 225 pounds of weight reduction, 9% improvement in aerodynamics. And Gay Kent's going to take you through the powertrain efficiencies, which includes our new e-torque systems. We've improved our crash worthiness as well, not only from an active side, those are crash avoidance, but from a passive side as well. That's after the event. Let's get started with the cab in the box. 100-pound weight savings, 52% usage of high-strength steel and advanced high-strength steels. 2 notable areas. One is within the door rings. On both sides of the door rings and the upper header, we use hot stamp steel, high tensile. Once again, part of that crash worthiness as far as the strength within the cab, light weighting as well. One other, we use advanced high-strength steel with a process called hydroforming in our rear box. This is a D-pillar. In typical construction is like a stick construction. You have a metal and then a cross and you weld in. This is a hydroform section, continuates all the way through and up. And what we found out is it really ties the rear of this box together. Then also it came in as a 9-pound weight savings. So best of both worlds on that. We do use aluminum, as Jim stated, as far as on the hood, and also on the tailgate. The tailgate came in as a 15-pound weight savings. Aerodynamics, very impressed with how we worked out our aerodynamics. Best in class CD, coefficient of drag, 0.357. Really good improvement. Couple notable areas. This Venturi effect on the roof, and then raising that box 35 millimeters. That was a really good collaborative effort between our aerodynamicist and Joe's group as far as coming together and providing 40% of the 9% just on that feature alone. So that was 14 counts of aero improvement, significant. Active air dam, that's the other 40%. Deploys at 35 miles an hour, retracts at 15 miles an hour, and it's clutch. We know truck customers at times run into stuff. It's available on all of our steel suspensions. Our air suspension doesn't need it because we have an aero boat, which I'll explain later. And then in our Rebel, it's not offered on a Rebel, primarily an off-road truck. Finishing the aero story, we have active grill shutters, full-faced active grill shutters. Really helps out in the aero story, then also a quick heater warm-up. Let's move to the active safety. Some of the features that we have, you'll experience some of them, hopefully not all of them today. Adaptive cruise control with stop and go, really nice feature for a pickup truck. and it tracks the vehicle in front of you. If you come into a stoplight, stops, it's less than 2 seconds, it will track the vehicle in front of you. If it's longer than 2 seconds, the vehicle pulls out in front, just hit the resume button, and it will track. Foot completely off the brake. Really nice feature. We have lane keep assist. That keeps you in between the lanes, and we give you haptic feedback within the steering wheel. So a little nudge within the steering wheel. We have 3 different settings as far as from light to heavy. Forward collision mitigation, which basically gives you that warning in the cluster, and then it will help you apply those brakes. Blind spot monitoring with rear cross path and trailer detect. And trailer detect is a new feature for us. It's fully automatic. You hook up your trailer, make a right-hand turn, it learns the length of the trailer on the right-hand side. Make a left-hand turn, confirms that length up to 39.5 feet or 12 meters. It gives you that confidence in changing lanes or when traffic is coming up alongside of you. Where do we house this technology? In our front camera, rear camera, camera in each mirror, and then a camera and a radar in a device called the Perkin. It's our integrated radar camera module, and it's just in front of our rear view mirror. That pulls the package together, which includes the 360 camera. 2 other features before we walk over to the rolling chassis is our adaptive forward lighting system on our premium models. And what that does is these outer lenses rotate up to 15 degrees as you turn a corner, lighting up that path. And then we have amber turn signals in the rear of our truck in our turns. You'll notice that as you follow one of the new 2019 Rams today.
Is this the Pentastar? Is this the Hemi?
This is all Hemi. This is the 5.7.
Oh, yeah, because I like big engines.
This is the 5.7 Hemi.
Yeah.
This is what's going to be first available.
Okay. And then it'll be
the 5.7 with the e-torque, and then the V6s. That's going to be the build, because they're being built right now, and they're heading into dealerships.
Well, I had high hopes for e-torque that might help you at launch, help you with trailers, but apparently it's mostly for the stop-start.
Oh, well, and fuel savings and everything else.
Yeah, do you know how much fuel, have you guys announced that, the EPA
Not
ratings?
Yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
So, you know, is there a percentage you think it's going to save? Is it going to save you 10%?
I think it was I think it was about 10%. That's what they estimated.
Okay. Well, these trucks weaving all over the place. 10%. If you're getting 20, that's 2.
It's about, they're hoping about 2 more.
Yeah, well, that's good.
I think
10%.
the original number, like 23, so maybe a bump to 25.
Oh, the Hemis are that high.
I can double check that. But
yeah. Wow. Well, so now did the horsepower and torque increase on these engines?
A little bit, yep. So this is 395 horsepower, 410 foot-pounds of torque.
What was I've got 6 test trailers, so we do a lot of towing. And that's why I try to find out stuff about trucks that would affect those people, because most people can't take their trailer to a dealership
and then go test it, right?
Yeah,
right.
so that's my job.
You're doing the work for them.
My job is to give them that angle of how it will do with trailers.
Tons of pickup truck questions, right?
Right. Where do we go for the answers?
We go to the Truck Nuts book.
Because we're truck nuts. And we wrote the book, Truck Nuts. We're nuts about truck. The ultimate guide to buying a truck, or to looking at a truck, or judging a truck. You know, whether it's diesel versus gas, new versus used, what your teenagers should learn about trucks, all that. You do all kinds of cool tests.
Yeah, we do a lot of testing. We do the iGauntlet, world's toughest towing test, up the mountain and down the mountain. We do MPG testing on the highway, loaded with trailers.
Yeah.
We do off-road testing. A lot of that data is in this book as well, and it's a one-stop shop for truck information.
That's true. We test trucks, maximum capacity, up to biggest grades you can do on the interstate.
Yep.
So we really put them to the test. And, you know, you can get all the facts you can't find anywhere else. We do MPG tests, which you can't find on any sticker anywhere. So, you know, all the stuff that you can't find is in the book.
And you can find the book at trucknutsbook.com. There are links to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all the other bookstores as well.
So read about your truck nuts.